My-kelo and the Shard of Stolen Time. The wind howled over the jagged cliffs of the Fogscar Mountains as My-kelo Jornsund pressed forward, his cloak snapping behind him like a banner in a storm. The Brotherhood of Light had intercepted whispers of an artifact buried deep within the ruins of an ancient wizard's tower. The Shard of Stolen Time, a relic said to halt the aging of its wielder and bend moments to their will. But My-kelo knew the truth. The shard was a fragment of a rune-well's power, and if left unchecked, it could fuel the growing influence of Tabafon. It had to be sealed or destroyed. The tower loomed ahead, half buried in snow and ice. Asha, ever at his side, shivered and cast a cautious glance at the sky. "I don't like this place," she murmured. "Something lingers here. Watching." She was right. As My-kelo reached out with his magic, he felt the presence of something ancient, something waiting. With a flick of his wrist, he wove a spell of detection, and the tower pulsed with hidden wards, long dormant but still potent. "A time trap," he muttered. The wizard who lived here didn't want anyone meddling with his work. Inside, the walls were lined with frozen bodies, warriors, mages, thieves, all trapped mid-motion, their faces locked in eternal expressions of shock and horror. The shard pulsed at the heart of the chamber, floating above an obsidian pedestal. The moment My-kelo stepped forward, the ice cracked. A figure moved. From the far end of the chamber, Tythos the Undying stirred, a ghostly mage wrapped in spectral chains. His voice echoed as though coming from a dozen throats at once. "You seek what is mine, Wizard of Korvosa. You would steal my eternity." My-kelo knew better than to parley with the dead. With a word, he sent a bolt of arcane energy crackling across the chamber. Tythos raised a bony hand, absorbing the spell, and with a twist of his fingers, the flow of time bent around them. Suddenly, My-kelo wasn't where he had been standing. He was at the entrance again, his previous actions undone. The duel had reset. Tythos grinned. "Fight me 1,000 times, and still, you will fall." Realization struck like a hammer. The shard wasn't just stopping time, it was rewinding it for those caught in its trap. My-kelo had to break the loop. Diving into his satchel, he grabbed a counter-sealing glyph, a relic the Brotherhood had developed for rune-well disruptions. "Asha! Keep him busy!" With a smirk, she hurled a volley of burning light, forcing Tythos to raise his defenses. My-kelo reached the pedestal, pressed the glyph against the shard, and poured his will into it. A shuddering scream filled the tower as time surged forward, the frozen warriors collapsing into dust, their centuries of delay catching up in an instant. Tythos shrieked, his spectral form unraveling like parchment in a storm. The shard, now powerless, cracked and crumbled in My-kelo's hands. The air grew still. Asha, catching her breath, leaned against him. "You really don't make things easy, do you?" He smirked. "Would you love me if I did?" She laughed. "Not a chance." With the tower's danger ended, the two turned toward the exit, the Brotherhood's mission once again victorious. But they both knew the war was far from over. For somewhere in the shadows, Tarbafan's forces were always watching, always waiting.